Imagine a hidden door, a door that can transform your life. A key so simple yet so powerful that few take it seriously. 100 times a day for 7 days. An invocation that saved a prophet. A word that broke the chains of the invisible. A secret that many don't know, but which could change everything for you. La ilaha anta subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. What if these words were the answer you were waiting for? What if this simple act finally opened the closed doors of your life? Stay well until the end, because what you are going to hear could be what you've been missing all along. 1. The call from darkness. The story of Yunus, alayhi salam. It was dark, but not just any night. A night of confinement, a night without a moon, a night where despair could have been the only companion. Prophet Yunus, alayhi salam, was alone, trapped in the belly of a gigantic creature. No light, no way out, only a suffocating silence, broken by the slow movement of the deep waters. It was a night that could have lasted forever. Imagine this feeling for a moment. Close your eyes. Immerse yourself in this darkness. Have you ever felt this way? As if life itself had closed in on you, as if every door had closed, as if no way out existed. Maybe you're not in the belly of a whale, but perhaps you are stuck in a situation that seems impossible to you. A pain that does not go away, an error that you cannot erase, a weight that has been weighing you down for years. Yunus, alayhi salam, could have let himself be overwhelmed. He could have abandoned himself to this darkness, but he didn't do it. Deep in the abyss, lost in a place where no one could hear him, someone heard it. La ilaha anta subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. There is no God but you, glory to you. I was among the unjust. Surat al-Anbiya 21:87. Through these words he admitted his mistake. He did not blame his fate. He did not ask why this was happening to him. He assumed, I was among the unjust. And that's where everything changed. Allah heard his cry. Allah accepted his repentance. And Allah saved him. What if this word was your light? Think for a moment about your own life. When did you feel this darkness? What is your own wail? Is this a mistake you can't forget? A sin that weighs you down? An inner pain that you cannot free yourself from? La ilaha anta subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. These words are not a simple sentence. These are words of liberation. Have you ever wondered why Allah chose this invocation to free Yunus, alayhi salam? He could have said something else. He could have begged differently. More, this word is a secret. In these words there is 3 powerful keys. The oneness of Allah, La ilaha illa anta. Recognize that Allah is the only help, that only He can save us. The glorification of Allah, subhanaka. Remember that Allah is above all weakness, that He is perfect, that He commits no injustice. The admission of our weakness, inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. Admit our mistakes, recognize our imperfections. This is what saved Yunus, alayhi salam. What if it could save you too? 100 times a day for 7 days. Imagine what could happen if you said this word 100 times a day for 7 days with sincerity. The weight you carry may become lighter. A door you thought was closed might open. Your heart might calm down. Think about all the times you looked elsewhere for a solution, all the times you hoped for change. What if the secret was there, between your lips? Try, and see. 2. A shield against the unknown, the invisible impact of Dhikr. We live in a world where everything seems material. We see roads, buildings, faces. But how many things exist that we don't see? The invisible is everywhere. The air we breathe is invisible, but it keeps us alive. The waves that carry messages are invisible, but they connect the entire world. The beat of our heart is silent, but without it, there is nothing. And in this same logic, there are invisible forces that influence our lives. Blockages. The doors closed. Opportunities that slip through our fingers for no apparent reason. For what? A man facing the inexplicable. A man complained constantly. Why is nothing working for me? Why do my plans always fail at the last minute? Why, even if I do everything right, do I feel like I'm locked in an invisible cage? He had tried all the methods of the material world. He had consulted experts, changed strategy, redoubled his efforts. But nothing. So he went to see a wise man. The wise man listened to him and simply said, "Repeat this invocation 100 times a day for 7 days, but with your heart." The man was perplexed. Would a simple sentence unlock everything that efforts had failed to change? But he tried. The first day, nothing. The second day, a slight calming down. The third day, his heart felt lighter, without him understanding why. On the 5th day, a long-lost opportunity came to him, without him having done anything. On the 7th day, he cried, as if an invisible weight, a burden he had been carrying for years, had disappeared without him knowing when or how. That's when he understood. The problem was not just in the outside world, he was also in the invisible. A shield against the invisible. And call upon me, I will hear you. Surah Ghafir 40:60. Allah has given us a means of protection, a means that cannot be seen, that cannot be bought, that does not depend on any other person. The Dhikr, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us that the remembrance of Allah is a light, a barrier, a remedy. When we say, La ilaha anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz-zalimin, we don't just line up words. We let's open a door to divine acceptance. We let's break the chains of our own mistakes. We let's purify what we don't even understand. Because how many obstacles in our lives are the result of our own negligence? How many lost opportunities are actually a response to mistakes we have forgotten? In the invisible, there are forces that block, but also forces that open the paths. And one of the keys is this invocation, 100 times a day for 7 days, an invisible but powerful transformation. When Yunus, alayhi salam, was in darkness, he saw no way out. But by pronouncing this invocation, he activated an invisible force, a force that broke the barriers of his imprisonment. It's exactly the same thing today. Try. Do it sincerely. Observe what happens. Because there are answers that do not come in the noise of the world, but in the silence of the heart that turns to Allah. 3. A door to acceptance, transforming our trials into light. There are pains that cannot be seen, wounds that do not leave scars on the skin, but which mark the soul, trials that pile up until we no longer have the strength to continue. That's what she felt. A woman, after years of suffering and successive misfortunes, had decided to abandon. She was tired of trying, enough of hoping, enough of fighting for a happiness that always seemed out of reach. Everything had collapsed. His prayers seemed unanswered, every door closed, and the more she looked for a way out, the deeper she sank. She wondered, why does Allah punish me like this? What did I do to deserve this? Then one day, someone said a simple but powerful sentence to him. Try again. But this time, try with Allah. Repeat this invocation. She didn't really believe it, but she had already tried everything. So, why not? The test or the reminder? The first day, nothing. The second day, she had doubts. It's useless. Why would those words change anything? But she continued, and on the fourth day, something changed. No, not outside, not yet, but in she. His heart softens. His breathing became lighter, as if suddenly an invisible weight began to lighten. She repeated again and again, until a realization hits his soul. She was not fighting against life. She was not fighting against her destiny. She was fighting against herself. She relives her mistakes, his anger, his fears, and these words resonated within her with a force she had never felt before. Inni, kuntu, minaz-zalimin. I was among the unjust. The injustice we inflict on ourselves. We often think that injustice comes from outside, that it is others, circumstances, life that hurt us. But how often are we the first to inflict our own suffering on us? By harboring regrets that serve no purpose, by locking ourselves in negative thoughts, by distancing ourselves from Allah instead of drawing closer to Him. Allah gave us a path, but sometimes we choose the impasse. And yet, Allah is Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. He doesn't let us never sink without sending us a reminder. Sometimes what we see as punishment is actually a call, a hand outstretched to bring us back to Him, an opening where there was only a wall, and whoever fears Allah, He will give him a favorable outcome. Surah At-Talaq 65:2. This woman, who thought everything was over, continued her invocation. On the seventh day, she did not cry because of her pain, but because she realized that she had never been alone, that every hardship, every delay, every disappointment was in reality a direction, a way for Allah to show him another path. She had struggled against what she saw as walls, but in reality, they were doors waiting to be opened. 100 times a day for 7 days. What if it was the key you were missing? What are you feeling right now? A blockage? A feeling of injustice? A pain that doesn't go away? And if it wasn't a punishment, but one invitation, a hidden door that alone Allah can show you. Repeat these words 100 times a day for 7 days, not just with your tongue, but with your heart. Because sometimes the light doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. 4. The power of return to Allah, a practice not to be neglected. We spend our lives searching, solutions, answers, a relief from our sorrows. We look around, hoping something will change. We rely on others, on circumstances, on time. But how many realize that what they are looking for outside has always been inside? An endless quest, until a revelation. A man was wandering in the desert, lost. He was looking for water. He was looking for direction. He had tried to move forward blindly. He had followed traces, mirages. But the more he walked, the farther away he got. Then, exhausted, he collapsed on the sand. It was at that moment that he finally looked towards the sky. And that's when he understood. As long as we do not raise our eyes to Allah, we are going in circles. The words that change everything. La ilaha anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz-zalimin. These words are not magic. They are a connection. They are not a simple repetition. They are recognition. They are not an empty formula. They are a return to the one who never give up, the one who don't turn away, the one who opened the doors, even when you think there are no more. 100 times a day, 7 days. an experience, not just a practice. Try. Repeat them with your tongue, but above all, with your heart. On the first day, you may not feel anything. On the second day, your mind will tell you it's just a simple sentence. But keep going, and then something will happen. A reassurance, a lightness, an invisible breeze that erases the weights you didn't even know you were carrying. Because this invocation is not just a sentence, it is a return to your essence. When the soul turns to its Creator, everything changes. Certainly, it is by the remembrance of Allah that hearts are calmed. Surat Ar-Ra'd 13:28. We live in a noisy world, a world that distracts us, that takes us away from ourselves. But true appeasement, true healing, will not come never of an external world in perpetual chaos. She will come of the Creator. What if your heart finally found peace? We talked about a secret, of a hidden treasure in a simple sentence, of a forgotten path that leads to deliverance. But there is one essential thing you need to understand. This is not a theory. This is not a story to inspire. It's an experience. You have to try it yourself, 100 times a day for 7 days. Don't let these words remain just words. Let them become a reality. The door is there. The key is in your hands. The only question is, will you have the courage to open?